Moving on to the other babbling buffoon. And I do want to be a little bit lighter on this one. I did want to check the ID. I did not get to check the ID on this one, but I did watch the full broadcast and confirmed, at least through her mouth, that she was 18 years old.
My name's Noilani, and I'm 18, and I'm not working right now, and I'm a psychology major.
This is a young lady on one of these dating podcasts, and she had a regrettable moment on this episode. And it's hard if you've never been behind a mic. I don't know what her background is, but it was rough. It was rough.
I think like the biggest thing that like annoys me in like the whole dating world is like talking stages. Like that's so annoying. Like the whole like, and just like the inconsistency in them. Like I literally like hate that like so much. But I think that's like my biggest thing. It's just like.
But there's this young lady on the whatever podcast. Never heard of it before. Got millions of subscribers. I just subbed up. I'm getting into more of these dating stuff. Destiny has very smart jumped into that dating stuff and really broadened his horizon. He's very interesting too. But she's talking about dating apps here. And she's going to be inarticulate. That's kind of the point of this. But I will say, people didn't understand what she was talking about with the talking stages. I know what she's talking about. I think she's talking about when you just get to know somebody through these apps. These kids are going through apps. Back in my day, you had to step to a shorty. The talking stage was really talking in real life. Now you're on these apps and you're just chatting back and forth. You need somebody like her. First, let me do a disclaimer. Guys, behave yourself. She said she's 18. I don't know how old she is. I don't want to see any milk emojis in the chat. No chocolate chip cookies. I need eye discipline. I don't need to hear how thick she is or isn't.
I think like the biggest thing that like annoys me in like the whole dating world is like talking stages. Like that's so annoying. Like the whole like, and just like the inconsistency in them. Like I literally like hate that like so much. Like,
what specifically?
just like the fact of just like you like, I don't know how to word this, like in like talking stages, and it's just like you're like labeled that, and it's like people like are considered like you can't like, you're just like confused, and like most of the time like the girl gets like attached or something, and they like see it like it's gonna lead to a relationship, and it's always not. And it's just like, that's like my biggest thing is like I just hate the whole like how like talking stages are so like normalized. Like traditional dating does not exist in this generation.
But the comment here was by Alex Rosen. Social media has created a generation of narcissists that want instant reward and gratification for nothing. And that's an interesting response to this young lady's comments. And it made me think about behavioral sync. This is a study that I always constantly end up coming to in relation to what's happening in our world. I'm going to talk about some trans issues in a bit too. I think it covers that. I think it covers trans issues. It covers a lot of these environmental concerns from the younger generation, turning these things into religion. I said, this is behavioral sync from this young lady, potentially. Just looking at the grand scope of our country, I think it's behavioral sync due to an abundance of riches. There was this experiment done by John Calhoun, and it was really supposed to be, I think, a population control experiment where you overpopulate an area with mice and see what happens. But to me, the more interesting part of it is, because I don't think the overpopulation part is relevant to us right now. I think the part that's relevant is they never lacked for food. They never lacked for resources, food, water, anything they needed, they had. And we got homeless people with cell phones. So I think this applies to even many poor people or homeless people in America. Not everybody, but I think we have an abundance of riches. That's part of the story here with the app. So this is part of the story with this experiment. What does utopia look like for mice? According to the researcher who did most of his work, 50s through 70s, it might include limitless food. In a way, I don't know that young lady's upbringing, but she was pretty thick. I don't think she missed any meals. She wasn't fat or anything like that, but she was thick. But I think myself as well, I got heavy over the pandemic. And it didn't walk around as much and didn't really have a lacking for food, that's for sure. And now I have to look at, it doesn't matter how much food I've got, put it in the freezer, do whatever, not to waste it, but I'm not eating portion sizes that are ridiculous. Still on that journey. But this applies to everybody, to me. We basically have, it's so good here in America, the greatness of America. Maybe not every country, but America is, we almost got limitless food. Even with the eggs being expensive, you can buy something else even if you can't afford them. You can shop on coupons. You can pretty much, some people have government assistance. You can pretty much get what you want. So you pretty much have, many people, limitless food. So there's no need for that. There's no need to kind of ration it and to treasure it. And these rat utopias spiraled out of control. And we're living that right now. I think the young lady's living that right now. I think the drug issue, the drug pandemic that I talked about with Brandon and unfortunately the mother who lost her 2 sons. Calhoun called them the beautiful ones, and yet even while obsessing over their appearance, the males had zero interest in courting females, zero interest in sex. Intriguingly, Calhoun had noticed in earlier utopias that such maladjusted behavior could spread like a contagion from mouse to mouse. Does that sound familiar? What do you think's happening with TikTok and the trans and all this? I think that is definitely being contagious. Young people, very vulnerable. I think it's affecting young people more while their brains are developing. That's not an accident. They're exposing them to this stuff, and it spreads like a contagion from mouse to mouse. He dubbed the phenomenon the behavioral sink. Let me know what you think. That's what I really think that's a very pertinent topic in society today.
You know it don't stop. They say it's so rare to go to the top. You better know what you got. If you hold love and happiness, then you know it's a lot. Don't stop.
No one can stop me. I'm on a mission all minute. Don't doubt me again for living my dream. This is my prophecy. I found my purpose. My intentions are not to be forgotten, but I'm so close. I'm working and driven. I'm living more towards the mission I'm given. Now listen up. This is just the beginning. You're witnessing a legend. Don't miss out, 'cause this is just the beginning.